Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. What's up viewers? Welcome back to our course. The local time in Washington is 7:20. Last 2 weeks were really crazy for me because it was the finals week in the university and I have to grade about 150 copies of my students in last 2 weeks. You know, my students are more like my friends, and inside the university you will always find us together in any of the three places. Number one is the swimming pool, number two is the tennis court, and number three is the video editing studio. I hope you understand what I meant to say. Since the finals week is almost over, we all are very relaxed and okay for this course. Okay, so jokes apart, let's start today's class. Today we'll be doing scientific analysis of first 15 slokas of chapter 2. Since I am not an expert of chanting, so I am not going to chant each and every slokas. Rather, I will pick up 2-3 specific slokas to set up the foundation for discussion, and mostly we will be analyzing the slokas, and we will also do research on the spiritual allegory hidden behind the slokas. So chapter 2 starts with Sanjaya Uvacha, and then Sanjaya's explanation about Arjuna's situation, and in the second sloka is Shri Bhagavana Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalang Idam Vishame Shamupasthitam Anarya Yushtam Asargam Akirtim Karamarjuna. So in this sloka, Krishna told, in this crucial period where comes upon thee, O Arjuna, this despondency, behavior improper for an Aryan, disgraceful and detrimental to the attainment of heaven. In the next sloka, Krishna told, Klaibang masma gamah partha naititta upapadyate shudrang hridaya daurballang taktotishto parantapa. It means, O son of Pritha, forsake this weak-heartedness and arise. These two slokas clearly explain the importance of Gita. Arjuna came to the battlefield to fight against Kauravas, and the purpose of this battle was to re-establish dharma. But when Arjuna's mind got filled with delusion, he suddenly developed remorse, and the universal spirit, Krishna, came to his rescue. Let's see the physics behind it. Scientifically, if we consider Arjuna as an electron inside a single atom, and we want this electron to go to an excited state or a higher atomic orbital, we have to provide some external energy. Here, Krishna's words are that external energy which is helping that particular electron like Arjuna to reach the higher state. And what's the frequency? The combination of Krishna's word and the decision to fight for dharma together can be considered as the frequency. This frequency is required to reach that excited state. Spiritually, it is called moksha, or oneness with this whole universe. We can consider only Krishna's words as the threshold frequency. So Swami Vivekananda once told, the whole summary of the Gita can be told in the single sloka, that is the third sloka of chapter 2. Klaibang masma gamah partha naititta upapadyate shudrang hridaya dorballang taktotishto parantapa. This one. Yield not to unmanliness. That was Krishna's message in this sloka. Krishna wanted to remove the fear from Arjuna's heart. Swami Vivekananda told, there is no sin in this world. The only sin I can think of is the imaginary fear which resists a person to perform his or her duties. The same happened to Arjuna. But Arjuna was lucky enough to get advice from Krishna, and the writer of Gita made it available for everybody. Now, if we analyze what is the root cause of this type of fear in our life, we will get the answer that we have two types of fear. One is arising from the surrounding, and the other one is from inside our heart. If we want to do something unique in our life, most of the times we get a lot of negative advices from people surrounding us, and we feel if we fail in doing so, people will criticize us, our relatives will laugh at us, and it's very common in several parts of India, especially our state Bengal. Now let's dive deeper. Why are we so worried about what others think of us? It is because we do not have enough self-confidence to think that, okay, I'm doing something unique, it's absolutely right, I do not have to follow the footsteps of my relatives or the society. Basically, whenever the people surrounding us laugh at us for doing something unique, something different, they are not laughing at us. They are making fun of themselves, and subconsciously they want to justify, since they are not able to achieve something great and unique in their life due to lack of willpower, nobody will be able to achieve something big. This jealousy is the biggest sin of this whole world, and unfortunately this negative vibration increases the bad karmas of this whole universe. Knowingly or unknowingly, these jealous people harm themselves the most, and next they increase the negative karmas of this universe. In 21st century, this type of people can be considered as Rakshasas or demons. We don't have to search inside the hell to find Rakshasas. These negative emotions and people ruled by this are the great Rakshasas. That's why we need to realize the positive vibrations preached in the Gita. If we understand Gita properly, we'll not only be able to do something unique, but also will be able to increase the whole positive karmas of this whole universe. That's why in the 12th sloka of this chapter, Krishna told, Na tevahang yatu nashang, na tang neme yanadhipa, na chaibo na bhavishyama, sarve bhayamatah param. That means, it is not that I have never before been incarnated, not thou, not these royal ones, and never in all futurity shall one of us not exist. That means we all are the part of this divine consciousness. We all existed before our birth in this body. We are existing in this body, and we will exist after death of this particular body. The Vedantic text call this immortal consciousness as Brahman. So that's the concept. So in the next class, we will do next 15 slokas of chapter 2. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed. Thank you.